Good evening, folks. And tonight we're going to talk about something I talked about before. It's the transfer slash other things. But to get to transfer, we're going to talk about something prior to transfer. And that is section 463. Bylaw 463 and Bylaw 461, which pretty much resonates in bylaw as residents. Now, here is the rule of 461, Bylaw 461. There are 3 bylaws there's actually 12 exceptions in Bylaw 463, but there's only 8 of them. 3 through 8 is what we'll go through. Exceptions 3 through 8 is what we will talk about. But to talk about this is one of the most weirdest things I've ever heard of, to talk about this, so we'll get on with it. Let's read it here. Bylaw 461 designates that the State of Board of Education establishes all public school districts. In addition, every Ohio resident lives within the boundaries of one of those public school districts. The bylaw further defines what it means to be a bona fide resident of our state. Criteria indicates, but not limited to: 1, where the parents and family members sleep the majority of the time; 2, where the mail is delivered; 3, where meals are prepared and eaten; 4, where the parents are registered to vote; and 5, where important family activities take place. A significant part of each day are just some of the factors the OHSAA will examine in determining whether a resident in our state is bona fide. This bylaw also reminds members that if parents establish a bona fide residence under Bylaw 472, which is the transfer portion, exception for Bylaw 474, criterion with 1 to support a transfer. The resident must be maintained for at least 1 year from the date the transfer is approved. In short, to be a bona fide resident of Ohio, you must actually live here. This guidance will also alert administrators to the fact that, in many cases, a student who meets a residence exception will also have to adhere to the transfer bylaw. Those cases will be clearly identified within this series of documents. Now, we're going to talk about exceptions 3 through 8 of Bylaw 463, and that was Bylaw 461 I just read to you. Now, this is Bylaw 463. A student whose parents, biological or adoptive, technically step as well, who reside outside the state of Ohio will be ineligible for interscholastic athletics in a member school. So technically, they will be ineligible to participate in any sports whatsoever if their adoptive or biological parents live outside the state of Ohio. Which really does suck, doesn't it? Now, here are some exceptions to that bylaw. Exception 3. If a student's parents move outside the state of Ohio at any time after the student has been enrolled and attending a maximum of 15 days at the beginning of the student's 11th grade school year, the student may be declared eligible for the remainder of the student's high school career at the high school he or she was attending at the time of the parents' move, provided. Or A student's entitled enrollment at the high school has been contagious following the parents' move, and B, the student meets all other eligibility requirements of these bylaws. Now, here is exception 4. A student who enrolls at first grade in a school concessions grades 1 through 12 and maintains continuous enrollment shall be eligible for interscholastic athletics in grades 7 through 12 in that school, regardless of place or state of residence of parents. Now, exception 5. A student whose parents has been continuously employed for a minimum of 3 years as a full-time licensed or classified employee in an Ohio school district or system may be declared eligible in an Ohio school in that district or system where the parent is employed. Once eligibility is established at that member school district, the student shall remain eligible under this exception for as long as he or she maintains continuous enrollment at that school. The student shall be ineligible until ruled eligible by the executive director's office. The principal or athletic administrator shall submit a request for the ruling to either Deborah Moore or Roxanne Price, which is the directors. 1. Name of student. 2. Verification of parents' out-of-state residence. And 3. The verification of parents' employment history with the Ohio School District. Now, please be advised, the students who in the Ohio High School residents must also adhere the exception by transfer Bylaw 472, in which he or she will become in. Please be advised, students who transfer into an Ohio high school under this residence exception must also adhere to an exception by transfer Bylaw 472 if they participated in an interscholastic sports in 12 months immediately preceding the transfer. If that student does not meet a transfer exception and has participated in one or more sports, the student will be eligible and insofar a transfer immediately and through the first 50% max of allowable regular season contest. The student will become ineligible at the start of the second 50% of the maximum allowed regular season contest, allowing the OHSAA tournament in those sports to which student participated in the 12 months immediately preceding the transfer, which is what happened to Lancaster taking on Zanesville back in 95. One of the students already played several of those games but forgot that he already surpassed that when it came to that game. And they ended up beating Zanesville, handing Zanesville their only loss, but they had to vacate that win after they beat Zanesville 77-76. Such a disappointment. The founder of that law, the founder of that transfer law right there. And that was back in 94-95 season, the year Zanesville went on to win it all and had a perfect season despite us beating them, but they ended up losing. Now, exception 6. A student who resides within the boundaries of a Porsche school system consists of one Porsche school system, excuse me, I pronounced that wrong. Consists of grades 1 through 12 that has multiple sites organized into elementary schools 1 through 8, a secondary school 9 through 12, and has enrolled by the beginning of the 4th grade level of elementary school in that system and has maintained continuous enrollment in that school system through grade 8 shall be eligible for interscholastic grades 9 through 12, providing the secondary school attended by the student and the school designation by the school system for the continuance of the student's education program. No, the OHSAA does not require the superintendent of the non-public school system to provide us with a list of any elementary schools under the system's jurisdiction that are located both inside and outside of Ohio. The student shall be ineligible until ruled eligible by the executive director office. The principal or athletic administrator shall submit a request for a rule by either of the two people required. Obviously, the name of student, verification of parents outside of state residence, verification of the name of the school or schools the student has attended continuously since 4th grade, and confirmation that those schools are within the jurisdiction of Ohio non-public system. And 4, the student's transcripts for grades 4 through 8. Now, this gets even tar. Now we get, and please be advised, students who transfer to Ohio, this also is with that. Now, exception 7. A student who resides within the boundaries of a public school, A student who resides within the boundaries of a public school district in a neighboring state and who attends an Ohio school system under an arrangement through which an entire grade of out-of-state student attends Ohio public school system, and for whom the tuition or cost education for out-of-state student is paid by the neighboring school district of residence, and who will be eligible to receive a high school diploma from Ohio public school system, shall be eligible for interscholastic athletics in grades 7 through 12 in the schools designated by the Ohio school system for attendance by the students from the neighboring state. The student shall be ineligible until ruled eligible by the executive director's office. Now, obviously, they gave the same information. Now, exception 8. A student who is enrolled in a member school that provides housing for a student and accepts the rule part of local parentis, then obviously the same thing before. That's literally how all those work out. So the transfer rules are very different than what your average sub-transfer rules. Now, transfer 472, Bylaw 472, the Ohio High School Athletic Association, obviously will say a lot different. I mean, we'll read that, and we'll figure that part out here momentarily. We'll read that one momentarily, but 463 seems a little rough, if you ask me. I mean, we're literally just asking, like, not really that much. We're just asking, like, that much. I mean, let's be real here, people. We just want to have a lot of fun. Let's just have some fun, people. With that being said, I'm out of here. That being said, hit the like bell, hit the like button, hit the bell for notifications. With that being said, I'm out of here. Peace.